we're going to try to create a podcast out of this studio set here. And we thought, as an inaugural studio set break-in live stream, we would have McKay, who's been a very amazing and loyal employee until I have no idea what questions he's about to ask me, so I might take that back. But he's going to ask some questions. So, McKay, have at it. What do you got?
All right, let's go. Let's start off with the softball one.
Oh, dang, he's going fast.
And then we're going to go right into it.
He's ready to roll.
We're going to get right into the mud. All right. Who's an entrepreneur that you take inspiration from?
Oh, wow. An entrepreneur. See, I need to prep for this.
You
Okay. No prep. Okay. An entrepreneur that I take inspiration from.
Yeah.
You know, it's really interesting because most people wouldn't really think of somebody like Warren Buffett as an entrepreneur, but and I almost think it's cliche when we talk about Warren, but one of the things that I loved about him was that eye for patience, that especially in today's day and age, it seems like, based on when we read his biographies, he was able to put the noise aside and say, you know what, I know insurance is the place to be, to invest float, that cash flow that we're getting from insurance premiums, and then use that to build other businesses. That is so brilliant. Building cash flow first and then opening the doors. It's so the opposite of the mentality today. Today's mentality is go raise money, have negative cash flow, blow it all on flashy things, and quite frankly, have money-losing businesses and hope you get bought out by a bigger company. I don't like that mentality as much as I appreciate the Warren Buffett mentality. So absolutely Buffett.
Gotcha. Sweet. So I think you've obviously just starting to try to do that now a little bit with the starting the different companies, but HouseHack's one of the primary responsibilities is to build the cash flow to then distribute into other companies, into other responsibilities that HouseHack will have. Great. So now we're going to dive a little bit back into the past. Okay.
And I'll just catch up on that really quick. It's worth clarifying for those who don't know. That is exactly what we're trying to do with my real estate startup. Is my thought is, and I didn't even want to tangent into this, but thinking about it and putting myself into the shoes of wanting to create cash flow first, that's the key. With buying below market value real estate, I think, first of all, you have two responses. One, people think, well, there's no money to be made. And that couldn't be further from the truth. I mean, you've seen that pretty rapidly, that there's so much opportunity in real estate because real estate's hard. It's dealing with contractors. It's dealing with renovations. It's dealing with taking a property that can't be lived in and making it rentable and livable. Some people say, oh, well, you're taking away housing stock from people to live in. But I actually see myself as providing housing stock. We're providing rentals that people can live in who otherwise wouldn't. And we're giving homeowners who are unfortunately being forced to leave those properties because they can't live there anymore because they're going to hospice or they've already passed away or whatever, an opportunity to pass on more equity to their heirs. We're providing that value. But by doing that, we're able to generate what we believe is great cash flow. And knock on wood, we hope that can continue. And with that, we can create and build more businesses. So yeah, absolutely. Go to househack.com, read the offering circular, no guarantees.
Yeah, and just piggyback off that point, I had a neighbor come up to me while I was at some of the job sites this week.
The HouseHack job sites.
The HouseHack job sites, because it's been a long time coming, but we've raised one round, the Reg D, and then now we're obviously in the Reg A, and we have properties that we now own and we're working on. So it's really cool to see this idea go from idea to actual properties that we can go visit.
Has it been harder than you thought?
There's been a learning curve. It's been a lot of learning. So difficult, but there's been a lot of learning. And one of the neighbors came up to me and she said, I thought you guys were gonna have to tear this house down completely. And that's a lot of what we're trying to avoid is we get criticized. Oh, you guys are gentrifying areas. Gentrifying meaning we're gonna have to tear the property down and build up this outrageous property. When that's not the case at all. What we're actually doing is taking these properties that people thought were uninhabitable, which they are, but we're making them habitable again just by doing basic renovations that are very safe. I mean, I'm on the job sites firsthand, and safety is always the number one priority for tenants, and making it just a place that people can call home. So that's one of the top priorities. And the neighbors, I had 3 neighbors come to me, and they were just so grateful that we were taking such good care of the property. So
it's actually really amazing and rewarding when the neighbors initially they're like, oh no, here comes somebody else who's going to put a mech mansion in or whatever.
The first question she asked me,
Californians, that's what they hear.
The first question she asked me, she said, are you with BlackRock? That was the first question she asked me. And I said, nope, HouseHack, not BlackRock.
Let's go.
So we're doing good things. And it was good to see that firsthand. So the next question, at the end of 2021, the beginning of 2022.
Oh my God.
A lot of people had this feeling of wealth that they've never experienced before. And you actually made a video going over your $50 million portfolio personally.
Yeah.
How have you psychologically gone through the compression of wealth that everybody has felt?
Sure.
And you were very public about your finances. How have you psychologically gone through that?
Well, the biggest compression of wealth, I'll tell you, was taxes. So that year I spent on my 2021 taxes about $11 million in taxes, and then I had about 5 in prepaids.
Wow.
So that 50 with no market movement went to 35 instantly from taxes.
Wow.
That was really painful. Cutting those checks was extremely painful, and it really motivated me to go, okay, we need a different way to make money because paying 55% in taxes sucks. And then of course, like literally the very next month, you've got AOC on Twitter, like the rich don't pay enough or whatever. And I'm like, man, 55%. And I'm not trying to say like, oh, I'm rich or whatever, but like, I get it. We've been fortunate. We've worked hard for this, but wow, man, those are big checks.
Yeah.
And so now it's almost like the tax system is designed to go, well, how can we give you a tool to not pay those taxes? And that's what we've been discovering in 2022 and 3 is that, oh, the tools are there. You just have to know how to play it, whether that's with creative ETF structuring or retirement accounts or real estate. There are ways to avoid paying those sorts of taxes. And so I wish I knew some of the strategies I know now then, but hey, you can't look too much in the past, and you just got to put one foot in front of the other.
Gotcha. I like that. Thank you. Hey, I hope you're enjoying the podcast. If you have a second, it would really mean a lot if you checked out the link at the top of the description. You can get access to my free daily email group where I talk about the lessons that I'm learning daily by working for me, Kevin. I have not missed a day in over 3 months, so I highly recommend checking it out. Let's get back to the podcast. Obviously, as the CEO of HouseHack, what will be the most important metric that defines HouseHack's success? Is it going to be properties under management? Is it going to be capital raised? Is it going to be capital deployed? What is it? What is the metric that you're going to use?
Personally, an internal metric will honestly be accounting. That's the most boring thing, but is the number one thing that destroys every renovator. They have no idea how much they're spending per property. They have no idea how much they're spending per vendor. They don't know if they're getting ripped off on one property versus the other. Accounting and being very transparent about the data, I think is critical, because then when you go into the next renovation, you can have a sharper pencil. You can negotiate more astutely and know, okay, is this actually going to be a good deal, or am I lying to myself? Because if you're lying to yourself, you're lying to your investors. So accounting is number one, and that's an internal metric. But then externally, it's which is also beneficial to the company. It's just cash flow. You need free cash flow. That does not have to be rent, though. It can be in the form of rolling properties by buying really good deals, rolling them to institutions through syndications, REITs, whatever it might be, and recognizing the difference in what you are into a property for and what it's worth.
Gotcha. I like that. So when it comes to, we've had to face this year the word scaling.
Oh yeah.
And so for the last 5 years or so, you've had you, and then you've had a couple employees here and there, and you've also had your construction team. We've gone from one in-office employee, me in 2022, to now we have 13 total employees, including our construction crew. How have you had to readjust your leadership strategies, readjust your priorities with teams involved now going from 0 to over 10 employees?
Yeah, that's a great question. Some of the people that have been on the construction team have been with me really since about 2017, and more consistently since about the pandemic, 2020. And they're, I know, going to be a critical core of HouseHack, because you can't run a real estate renovations business without having people who have an expertise in construction. Now, you could work on teaching that, but there's a limit to that. So having people who know my formula is so critical. And I mean, big shout out to Nick, Mark, Kincaid, Michael. These are phenomenal people. They know our formula. They have so much growth potential, every single one of them too, to really not just drive the renovations that they're working on, but teams of people who can renovate. I have so much faith in them. And of course, I have to be a supervisor. I have to check in to make sure that things are moving the way they are. But I think we've built a really great group of people. And I never want to go back to just being me, because it's stressful. I mean, even today I was teaching one of our team members accounting, and we got to a reconciliation error. And I'm like, well, here's your first reconciliation error. And they're like, oh, I remember this from the school days. I go, great. So you know exactly what to do. Here's the bank statement. Here's the QuickBooks. Go figure it out. And you're sitting there with a pencil and finding every penny that's off balance. Of course, we ended up balancing it. But then they came to me and said, hey, Kevin, how often do you have to deal with these reconciliation errors? And I'm like, If you're in accounting, the answer is always.
Wow.
And that's normal. That's why accountants exist. That's why accountants have jobs, because they provide value. Things don't balance automatically. You need a human to actually touch invoices and receipts and to balance these things appropriately. But it's to me, it's exciting seeing other people learn and grow, because then it means I don't have to do it all anymore. So it's a weight off my shoulders. That's the way I look at it.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Yeah.
So what's a personal challenge that you have had to personally overcome that has improved your leadership style?
Oh, well, I think it's really useful to remember that everybody makes mistakes, and I know I get frustrated. I mean, you guys see me get frustrated, and I always try to be very reasonable. And so, I think something that helps me is looking at a bad situation and saying, okay, how can we take something where maybe we feel like we got shafted by another company or whatever and turn it into an opportunity? And 9 out of 10 times, I find that when we feel like we got shafted, that means other people are getting shafted as well. And that actually means there's a big business opportunity to make more money or provide more value. Or if we can communicate more clearly and prevent that feeling, now we're winning where other people aren't. And anytime you can provide value or create value where other people don't realize or don't know how to, you make money. And so it's a fantastic thing. I really, I was with dinner with Lauren tonight, and I was sort of lamenting this idea that maybe in 50 years from now, or 100 or 200 years from now, there actually won't be those opportunities anymore. That arbitrage, basically, you just go in your capsule, your Ready Player One capsule with your Apple Pro Vision headset or whatever, and you have all the pleasures and none of the pain of life and achievement or success and failure, and you kind of just exist. And I thought that was actually sounded really depressing, because I like the lows because they make the highs feel so rewarding, because you create them, you find those opportunities. And so I couldn't be happier right now where we are. And so I wouldn't wish to be in any other time. So it's exciting.
You've often referenced that 2022 was your most difficult year for you personally. What would 2023 Kevin tell 2022 Kevin?
Well, number one, don't be an idiot. And number two, just put one foot in front of the other. It just always tends to work out. As low as things feel, I've always had this mentality of the Russian Scutum. We had the book somewhere. Christian, I think they're on the other table. I was going to put them over here. I have The Collapse of the Roman Empire, the whole 5-volume series or whatever. The Roman Empire reminds me a lot of the shield, the scutum, and it's this body length shield. It's probably 3 feet tall, and the idea is that when you go through life, you're going to get pushed back with that shield. You're going to get hit. You're going to get beat up, but you've just got to put your arms firmly against that and just push forward. And so as long as you're going 2 steps forward, even if you get 1 step back, who cares? Gotcha. You're net forward. It's fine.
I like it. Yeah. All right. A couple more questions and we'll let you head to bed, because it's already past your bedtime. But, I've really enjoyed it. So
I never sleep. What do you mean?
Well, that actually goes right into my next question. You have been one of the most masterful people at
and if I said Russia, I meant Rome.
Rome.
I hope
yes.
that was clear.
Roman.
It maybe
the Roman
wasn't
Empire.
Clear.
Roman Empire, not the Russian Empire.
Yeah.
They're still alive and well. The Russian Empire.
Yeah. Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you have one of the most unique approaches to productivity I've ever seen. You're always looking for ways to optimize and make your day more efficient. What do you think has been one of the most efficient things that you've done that is a habit that you've created? Because I pride myself at trying to be the hardest working person in the room. Yeah. But for whatever reason, when I go to bed, I wake up with 5 more messages from you that you've already done so much more work while I was asleep. And what do you think has been one of those habits to you that's just always made your days way more productive than, everybody's the same 24 hours.
Yeah, that's interesting. I think if there was one thing you were going to pinpoint it on, it would be the mindset of always, how can I do whatever it is that I'm doing more efficiently? Now, I'll give you a specific example. There are a lot of realtors, and this frustrated me early in the business. I would have a broker tour, and another realtor back in 2011 would bring a client by. They'd bring a client through, they'd show the house. They're like, my client loves it. They are going to write an offer on this. And I go, great. When are you going to send it? And they're like, in 3 hours, because I got to drive 30 minutes back to the office. I got to write the contract. Then I got to drive to my client and get the signatures. Then I got to drive back to the office and scan it up and send it to you. I'm like, this is ridiculous. I could close the deal in 3 hours and be done with this. And so fast forward to all of the little micro efficiencies that I tried to create. And I'm going from showing a property to having an offer in another agent's inbox in 10 minutes. And what happened was I realized, well, first of all, we need to use e-signing, which, I mean, everybody e-signs now. That's not a big deal. But in 2010, that was a big deal. Mm-hmm. But it wasn't just e-sign. It was, how can we create templates to make it so that when I write the contract, it fills out faster? How can I make it so when I sign the contract, the initials go faster? Now, I don't even want to go to the office. How about I put a laptop stand in my car? So after I show the property, I could just go sit down in the car, hotspot on my phone, and write the offer. Wait, I don't have service on this line in Oxnard Shores or whatever. Okay, what company has service out here? I'll buy a second phone and have that service so I can hotspot on it. Any barrier there was that I needed to overcome to make sure I could get that offer out sooner was what I made sure I was able to accomplish. And the same is true on a daily basis, whether that's making your desk more efficient, making sure that when you're waking up, your phone's not at 19% battery and you're going into the day on basically wrong-footed, right? Or having that clean white dress shirt, or, you know, a backup of your toothpaste. It's all of those little nominal things that people, you know, you'll go through your day, and if you're not proactively thinking about it, you're like, oh, forgot to order the toothpaste. Oh, there's no milk for my coffee now. Oh, there are no clean shirts. And so no wonder you're late. No wonder you don't have service. No wonder it takes you 3 hours to put an offer together. It all compounds. So it's that mindset of always, how can I make every little thing that I do more efficient? I don't know what that is in every person's life, but I think as you go through your day, when you find a frustration, you have to ask yourself, how can I make it so that when I get to this part of my day, I'm not pissed off anymore? and that's when you know you're going in the right direction.
I love it. Well, thank you so much. So if you guys don't know already, the reason I got hired by Kevin was because I actually started a YouTube channel based off of his YouTube course. That is how I am here.
Wow.
So I don't even know if you knew that whole thing, but
hey, we have a coupon code expiring tonight. I didn't even remember. I forgot to pitch that.
That course is the reason I'm sitting here today. So those courses.
Wait, but there was somebody, you got to tell the full story. Now I remember there was somebody who actually really motivated you over the edge. Ross did. It was so. We don't need to get into the full story. Tell it. What's the...
So Ross went on to Kevin's channel.
Ross who? Ross Gerber. Gerber Kawasaki. Go to Gerber Kawasaki now to get your wealth plan, ticker symbol GK, personalized financial advice. He's great. I love Ross.
Ross is the best. And I've actually never met him. So we gotta find a time to meet him.
Vegas.
Anyways, Ross went onto your channel and you were complaining that you couldn't find people that wanted to work here, that wanted to just give everything could to the businesses. And so I was like, all right. And I sent an email to Kevin, and then it was like kind of a half-hearted email. And then I sent another one. And because of that the interview with Ross was like, if you want to work for the best, hardest working YouTuber out there, then go work for Kevin. And this is before House Hack. This is before all of the other ETF providership services. And this is pre-everything. And I applied and I got a tryout as a TikTok editor, ended up here as a TikTok editor. And now we've started some pretty incredible companies.
It was pretty remarkable because you were here for like 2 weeks and you were doing some TikToks. And what was wild is you edited like my Hawaii lazy river, like Noob vs. Pro, how to get rich videos on TikTok. And all of a sudden they were getting like millions of views. Like, good job, man. That was amazing. So you came here and you just like grind it out or ground out. I don't even know what the correct grammar of that is. You just killed it grinding and trying hard. And then like, it's almost like by karma, the two people who were your senior decided to go to Dubai for another opportunity, which didn't work out, but who cares about that? What matters is you became them. You became two people and you filled the role of two people. So thank you.
I appreciate it. I appreciate your patience in helping me, but we have a long ways to go. And if you guys enjoyed this, consider subscribing to Meet Kevin, where he provides value every single day, early in the morning, late at night. You might get lucky and have a midnight podcast like this. So if you guys haven't already, check out the coupon codes. And I'll tell you what, if you're listening to this late at night, send me an email right now, staff@meetkevin.com. I will be up for the next couple hours. I'll get you a super special discount, staff@meetkevin.com for any of the courses, and I'll get you a special discount. And that's what I've got to bring you guys today. So thank you. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. Like always, see you next time. Thanks for watching.
Thanks.